Okay, we're all here. Well, welcome everybody. I'm super excited to do another Celebrate Possibility call. It's the end of the month again, last Thursday of the month. And my name is Astrid Mueller. And I have a special guest, Olga Bochareva. How do you pronounce your name? Bochareva?
You got it.
Bochareva, yeah, I got it. And we already have one caller from Switzerland and France. I'm so happy to have you. I'm very excited. So very cool. So I'm going to tell you guys really quickly, if you're watching this recording later, you catch the whole thing. Pretty much this call is about three things. It's my mission to empower you, to inspire you, and to celebrate with you. And this is for all of you women, solopreneurs and freelancers, anywhere where you are in the world. I want to inspire you to take a moment to celebrate and be proud of what you did this month. And also I want to empower you to have a successful next month. So this is what this call is all about. So it's no official selling or anything. I may share resources, and Olga, my special guest, I may share resources and stuff, but it's really no special selling stuff coming up. So just enjoy and grab something to celebrate. If you have a glass of wine, wherever you are, like here it's in Alaska, it's 8 o'clock, so I'm just having coffee. Get ready to be and yeah, you have tea, that's cool. What's that?
I'm a green tea kind of girl, so
that's cool. Whatever floats your boat. It's awesome. Okay, cool. I'm going to start with the first part of the call, which I call the inspire section. So I'm going to start with, because I'm all about possibility. I'm a solopreneur, call myself the CEO of GIRLPOWER, and possibility is kind of my mantra too. So I'm all about thinking big and seeing possibility, and I want to inspire you to see possibility too. So my inspiration today is I'm always trying to think of a story that can help you think bigger. So it's funny, this month for me it was so that I realized, okay, I'm going to slow down a little bit. And I called myself, okay, I'm going to take half vacation month. Like a half vacation, quote unquote, just to give myself the okay to slow down a little bit. And because I tend to sometimes just hustle and just go like this and just get things done and whatever. And so I took the month to just kind of like do stuff more guided by intuition, and like I listened to my body, and it's like when I felt not very energized, I'm just gonna go off and take a walk or go outside, or I went to the library and got a huge pile of books that I got inspired by and all that kind of stuff. So it was a really cool month like that, and something cool happened. Like here's a story that came out of that, which to me was like a huge epiphany. So what I did is like this one time I had a Tuesday or something where I had this moment where I felt a little bit like low energy, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay, either I can stay at home and try working and beat myself up for like, not working fast enough or whatever, or I can leave and like maybe feel a little guilty for not working, but then I'm like, no, wait, I'm saying it's my half vacation month, so whatever. I just taken off, and that's what I did. So I live on Kodiak Island, Alaska, which is gorgeous, but everybody can go outside, right? So I just went outside and for a little bitty hike to a beach, and I grabbed some books because I couldn't help it. But as I sat on the beach, I just spent an afternoon sitting there and was reading book, getting inspired, and suddenly I had this huge epiphany for myself that, oh my gosh, like it's a business idea, right? It was I can do a mastermind group with somebody else. Instead of just coaching one-on-one, I can team up with somebody, and we could have like 6 women join us, and we can have bigger revenues, a lower price for everybody, whatever. So I got this cool idea that was like a perfect solution for me at this time, what I was looking for, trying to grow my business. And it just felt like perfect. It was this intuition moment that that really empowered me. And I was like, oh, this is great. I was just not doing anything other than getting inspired and slowing down. And I got a much better idea than I may have gotten by just hustling and just like, trying to make things work, So this is my story, my inverted story of possibility, that sometimes when you do less, you achieve more by just slowing down and listening to yourself, following your hunches and intuition. So that's my story of possibility for this month. Okay, so take it if it inspires you, and if you're in a different spot, that's cool. Just putting out there what inspired me, and yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the next step in the call, which is to empower. And for this, I started to bring in guest experts. And this time I have Olga Bochareva, which I'm super excited about. And Olga is an e.f.t specialist. Hi, Olga. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So she's all about tapping, but I'll let you introduce yourself. Why don't you tell us just a little bit more about what you do and how you help women entrepreneurs and business owners with their business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here, Astrid. I'm just so excited to join you on this call and to have this chat and to help others get inspired and get empowered. And yes, I'm Olga Bochareva. I'm CEO Mindset and e.f.t coach for entrepreneurs. So I help people release emotional hangovers, fears, and doubts when it comes to building the business. Because let's face it, emotional roller coaster of building a business is huge. So this is where I come in, helping people release fear of failure, rejections, all this abandonment feelings, anything that's kind of yucky. That's sort of part of the journey, and you have to learn how to navigate it. I'm also passionate about fearless living. I believe that fear is a choice. You know, danger is real, but fear is a choice. So this is like my message, my tagline. I talk about this all the time. And I really wanted to quickly mention, you know, piggyback on something that Astrid was talking about, because this is so profound, guys. And, you know, what she shared in terms of creating this white space, right? Giving yourself a break, because that is absolute truth. That is so often where best ideas come in, right? When we slow down, we step back, because otherwise we are in our thinking. You know, usually you need to be in a different level of thinking to solve existing problem, right? So you have to go there. And literally yesterday I had a webinar, and that webinar wasn't releasing procrastination, which you would think would be opposite to taking break, right? But the truth is, my step 5, we talked about this, create a space, because in that space, so often your answers will show up. And you know how you guys heard that the best ideas sometimes come up in a shower or in a bubble bath. So bubble bath actually, by the ocean in case of Astrid. And I remember, you know, literally, you know, taking a bubble bath, and then there was this email I was procrastinating for a while. And then I got out of the bubble bath, and it took me like 5 minutes to write it down. Where before it took me like an hour and a half, and it just didn't look right. So I think this is very profound, and I'm so glad that Astrid is talking about this, because, you know, we love what we do, right? We often are workaholics, and we just get into this head full, and it's hard to slow down and stop, because we think that if we slow down and stop, we won't be productive, whereas the opposite is true, right? So you have to have this white space. So thank you so much for sharing it, Astrid.
Yes, and thank you for doubling up on that. I'm really excited to hear that that you agree and that you also incorporate that, and that it's also helped you. So tell us a little bit more. I'm just so everybody's on the same page, without going like too much detail. But I know that I know a lot of what you're doing, but the others may not. So you do coaching, but you also are about to start a podcast. And what are all the different things you offer for women business owners? Can you just go a little deeper?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I work one-on-one with people where I offer private coaching, and just got off the call right now, right before this one. And I also have a signature program that I've created for entrepreneurs. This is for people who are ready to go deeper and release limiting beliefs in our subconscious level. This is where my area of expertise. I'm helping people recognize and release those limiting beliefs that hold them back, and, you know, what are those blocks are. So that program called Fearless Entrepreneurs. So it will be launched in September, so that's coming up soon. If there's something changed, so you can check into this. And I was serving as a success business coach, was working with Rachel Cook, so I have quite a few different roles. And yes, just like Astrid said, we'll be launching a new podcast called Fearless Entrepreneur Podcast probably this September. And I'm so honored that she's actually will be on it too. Excited. And yeah, so those are just a few things that I do. Every Thursday, my community get an email from me with a tapping video and some tips on how to use the e.f.t emotional freedom technique and this process of tapping in their business and life. So, and I call it Fearless Entrepreneur Show. So every Thursday, they'll get a new video just to kind of help them with one little thing, whether it's procrastination, fear of failure, any worries or doubts that come in their business, just to kind of release, right? Let go of it. So.
Awesome. And I know like Anne-France, you've tried that before too, because you've like worked with me a little bit, like the tapping. Is that the one? Have you done that before?
Are you talking about with me?
I was just talking to Anne-France. I was just asking her.
Yeah, I tried it. I tried it. I did it only once or twice, but yes, yeah, it was a very interesting experience, and yes, I think I will carry on doing it.
That's cool. So yeah, I just want to tell everybody, like, you know, whatever I share and whatever we all share, this is all like an inspiration. It's not meant like as the only one path for you to success or whatever. Just see if it works for you. Nothing works for everybody. It's like always my big mantra, just like take things as inspiration, but see what works for you. So anyway, let's go back. Olga, I would love to pick your brain or give you the word to share like 3 power tips or exercise, whatever you would like to share. You could even do like a small tapping session or whatever. What would you love to contribute to help women business owners, solopreneurs, and freelancers who will watch this and who are watching this now to get empowered to become stronger, grow their business, or have a better life? What would you say?
Absolutely. So what I wanted to share with you guys is the 3 tips that help you to be more emotionally intelligent in your business and more emotionally resilient.
Nice.
And is, you know, what I believe is that when you learn how to take control of your feelings and when you learn how to master the way you feel, you look younger, you feel happier, you're healthier, you have better relationships, you make more money, and you make bigger impact on this planet. So I'm very, very passionate in helping people manage their feelings and emotions, because honestly, it's everything. Feelings are magnetic, right? So I always say use joy as the compass to get anything that you want in life. So you want to learn how to harness this power of your feelings, because feeling is always stronger than a thought. So my 3 tips that I think will help you, you know, start kind of really understanding how it works, and then we'll do a tapping session on the step number 3 on how to actually practically use this simple tool. So the first thing I want you to consider and take out of this conversation is that, you know, everything that you ever wanted is on the other side of a fear, right? So if you have a certain fear, if you have resistance, go there.
Right.
I know it sounds like, no, I don't want to go there. But the truth is, guys, you know, fears are very often they're not real, and they are bigger than they look, and bringing them out on the open releases a lot of energy, a lot of creative energy. And it could be, you know, business fears, it could be life fears. So one of the things that, you know, might inspire you or help you understand this concept is when I had my baby, and my second baby, I actually decided to do unmedicated birth. So one of my biggest life fears was giving a birth. I was probably scared since I was 10. I don't know how I learned about this, but that was one of my biggest fears, to give a birth to a kid. So I decided that I want to do an unmedicated birth, and, you know, worked with a lot of different things, and I brought some amazing modalities like tapping and like self-hypnosis. So what ended up happening is this was one of the most transformative experiences in my life. So facing your fears and overcoming them really gets you closer to who you really are on a deep soul level. And, you know, now looking back at that experience, it wasn't scary, it wasn't painful, it was like one big meditation. It was just so relaxing. And then, you know, I was doing my thing, walking and contraction, and I'm in this huge pool of water. The next thing, like, this baby's swimming out of me like Little Mermaid. And if somebody would tell me that, you know, that they had this, I wouldn't believe them. It's like they're totally lying. They were in pain, they're making it up. But I actually experienced that. You know, I had, you know, childbirth that was peaceful, happy, joyful. I mean, there were some sensations that, you know, were maybe a little bit painful, but it wasn't nothing horrible and, you know, big. So when things like that happen with you, and when you allow this kind of experience, then, you know, everything is possible. You know, the reason why I like Astrid's message so much in possibilities is we're blocking ourselves from possibilities when we are refusing to look at some things not. So my first tip, guys, is everything is on the other side of the fear. If there's something that you're scared of, you know, look into this and see if this is the next thing that you wanted to address. So maybe, you know, you're afraid of doing the videos. Go ahead and do one right now. You know, you don't have to even show it to anybody. Just go ahead and create a video just for yourself, so you can start, you know, practicing this muscle, so you can start doing this. Or maybe you're thinking to start a newsletter, right? And you think, well, nobody's gonna read it. Who do they think I am? Well, go ahead and write one and send it to your friend. You know, just for the practice purposes. And then the next thing that you do is you know, start doing this. You guys maybe heard of this book. It's called Feel the Fear. What does it call it? Yeah, feel the fear and do it anyways. Have you guys heard about this book?
No, but that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I haven't read it, but I got the message. So basically, if you have, any fears, I'll show you a really, really cool technique on how to address it and release it the quickest as possible. But the truth is, guys, you probably never can 100% get rid of the fears. They always still be part of your life. And successful people and abundant people, they feel it. They just don't let it stop them from moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is it making sense a little bit, Astrid?
What's that?
Does it make sense a little bit?
That makes a lot of sense, and thank you for letting me say something real quick, because I was burning to say something. I'm good at interrupting people. I love what you said, and you had so many cool points in there, and I love how you said that that possibility is beyond the fear, and there are like so many cool inspirations to just embrace it. And thank you for sharing your story too. That you were able to kind of like ease yourself into this upcoming scary situation and kind of feel better before, and that you actually probably attracted kind of a better experience because you were more relaxed. Do you feel that was like part of the benefit as well? Like you kind of changed what would happen?
Yeah, absolutely. What happened after that, actually, 2 months after I gave birth and 2 months after I decided to address my fear, I quit my full-time job. So that was my catalyst to, doing the steps. So I was a high school math teacher for 12 years. And then, I decided, what, I want to be a business owner. I didn't even have like an exact thing I wanted to do. I knew I'm passionate about EFT because it helped me in so many ways. So I decided to become a certified EFT practitioner and, help other people with their emotions. So that's how it started 3 years ago. But that was really as a catalyst for one of the biggest changes in my life. And in my case, it was leaving the 8 to 5 job and starting my own business, because I felt this power. I've experienced that. I already had the experience of the strong, amazing force inside of me. It's just, and I read it in books, and I, watched the movies, and I heard the podcasts, but that was the first time I actually experienced it. So the reason why I'm bringing up this tip to you guys about the fears and facing them is because that's where you're going to find it. That's where your power is, right? When you step.
I like that.
You watch it, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's all inside of me all along.
I love that. I love that. I'm also all about helping women getting their superpowers, because I know they're inside, and a lot of times we cover them up. Before we go to your tip number 2, I would love to dive a little bit deeper into the reason of why addressing our fears can be so beneficial, because I know there are many benefits that we're often not aware of, or we don't want to think about just because we're scared of something. We're just like, whatever, I'm just going to put it aside. I'm not going to deal with this right now and do something else. So I'm going to start a quick list and just of things that come to my head, but I'm sure you have some really cool additional ones. So you said okay, your superpowers are behind the fear, right? Possibilities behind the fear. And that's a great example with your story, that it can be much better than you thought. You also said that a lot of times the fear may be bigger than in reality. So it may be like fictitious. A lot of times it's like nightmares. We think it's bigger. So from a business sense, like I discovered a few things too. I read a lot as well, and I'm really inspired about this topic. So one of the things that I know is that all entrepreneurs who are successful, they spend time on like building their minds, and that the whole overcoming fears is like a big part of it, right? But one benefit is also that that you just empower yourself to not block yourself. I guess you kind of said that too, but like to just move forward and move through it, like you said. So that's like just so essential. And another one is, so I heard, okay, I'm not like a neuroscientist, but, and I may not explain it correctly, but like, okay, so you have left brain and right brain, right? And like one brain is the creative side and the other one is the analytical side. And we get conditioned in the society today. Aunt Frances smiling. I know you're fascinated by all that stuff too.
Yes,
Yes. Anyway, so we are very conditioned in our society to just be like this controlling side and this, do things how we learn them and just so the other side of the brain is the creative side that gets kind of like solution finding side and whatever. And I guess I wonder, a question to you, Olga, is if you address your fears, does that probably also mean that we use the other side of the brain where you get like, we have to let go, you let it get a little bit creative, you play with it, you address it, you become this conqueror. What is your take on that?
Absolutely. The fears, doubts, and worries, they suck our creative energy, right? So because when we are in a state of fear or in a state of stress, it's really hard to be creative. The truth is, you know, and going back to neuroscience, it's been scientifically proven that when you are in a state of stress, your parts of the brain that are in charge of math, creative thinking, and music just shuts down automatically, you know? So when I was math teacher, when I learned this little piece, I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to teach kids how to deal with stress, and they're going to learn just fine. That's all I have to do. It's the only job of the teacher, you know, how to handle stress, because then they'll be open for learning. And so basically for us entrepreneurs, what happens is, because entrepreneurship is not a straight line, right? It's not a direct path. You have to figure out a lot of things. You have to be very creative and find solutions that have not existed before you. And the chances are, if you're listening to this, and you know, for Anna and Astrid, if you're a business owners, if you're entrepreneurs, you've created something that has not ever existed before. And for this to happen, you have to tap into that part of you that is not logical, that, you know, does not know all the answers, but that's where the answers are, right? It's the between the thoughts. So absolutely, the tapping process and the learning to feel good, right, and go on the other side of the fear, it'll help you tap into that part of you, because when you're not stressed, then you are much more creative. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. I've experienced it, and I'm sure that it makes, like, en France, that sounds good to you too, right?
Yes. I also, like you, Olga, coming over fears or experimenting fears helped me also to make a big change in my life, and also to decide from leaving my job and to go on the entrepreneurship.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yes.
It's really cool. So I'll teach you some tapping. Tapping is an awesome tool in this journey.
Yes, it's so cool, and I'm super proud of all of you for doing that. I wanted to share like a super quick graphic, which is ridiculously basic, but I just got it as inspiration from a book I was reading this month, which is The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vishen Lakhiani from Mind Valley. And I'll put the link in the notes afterward. But I'm super excited about the book. It helps you to think outside the box, and it helps you to give you techniques that also help you conquer fears and like move forward. And he talks about, as entrepreneur, like how he's working with all his employees to move forward. And one of the things they do is like they tackle fears in a sense like head on. They celebrate failures, and in the sense of saying like, okay, cool, you have an opportunity to learn what happened, right? And so how can you make this better next time? What can you learn from this, and how can you make this amazing? So they have this positive attitude. They really embrace tackling fears, which I think is amazing. And he's a really cool example of like a super successful company where his employees are actually so excited about working with that company. They have a huge wait list because it makes you feel better to think that way and just to go forward and do it. And the little graphic I wanted to share, I don't have his book here right now, but he had a graphic. I don't know. Can you guys see this here? Kind of. Yeah. Okay, so the left side here is this is the progress, right? So if you go and grow your business, you start here, you go up, and then you have something happen, something scary happens, right? And you have a downfall, and you're like stopped somehow. And if you're just like blocked by fears, you can stop, you know, and just let everything go, and you're blocked, or you pause and you don't do anything. That's one option. And then the other option, what he does with his team here, as going forward, he said like, okay, you go forward, and then something bad happens, and then this is the opportunity to learn and do something with it, right? Tackle your fears, and then find something cool that you can do with this, and then make it better, and then you go up. And so it's always like, woo, something cool, up. So I really love that. how he had it in his book, to just like give you a different mindset instead of like, oh my gosh, you're scared, block. Just tackle it, go for it, and move forward, and look at it as something positive, and really want to find your fears, because that could even like become a warrior, a problem-solving ninja. So anyway,
yeah, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for bringing up Astrid. It actually kind of brings it to my second point.
Perfect.
The failures and rejections, right? Because the truth is, in an employee world, failure considered as something bad, but in an entrepreneur world, failure is actually a good thing, because just like I said, there is no failure. It's an opportunity to learn. It's a feedback. So my personal mantra is, there is no failure, only feedback, right? There's no failure, only feedback. And even when I was teaching back in school, I was saying, guys, F does not stand for failure, it stands for feedback. So you need some feedback there. But honestly, you know, when you're talking about celebrating fears, I so resonate with this. Actually, one of the modules in the Fearless Entrepreneur course is just about failure. Like, so how do you handle fear of failure? It talks about all the successful people who failed like multiple number of times, and guess what? They became, you know, successful and profitable. It's just, you have to navigate this with, you know, to where you don't get under the blanket and completely shut your world down. So, and you know, another part of that is rejection, right? Because another thing that Astrid mentioned, no. How do you deal with no's? Because you're gonna get a lot of no's. And the way I look at it, every time I hear no from a client, from a opportunity, any other way, it's like, okay, so every single no gets me closer to a yes. Every single no get me closer to a yes. So if you know, feel rejected, or you feel like something's not working, it's all done. It's just you don't see it right now from the point where you're right now. But even, you know, a couple of months down the road, or a couple of years, you look back and say, like, I see exactly why that happened. That was not my door to walk in. That was not my client to coach. It was not my program to create. That was not my time to make that money or this money, because something better came along, and I just made space for that.
Nice.
So,
that is so cool.
Right. So every time we deal with rejections or failures or abandonments, just adopt this mantra. So there's no failure, just feedback. And when it feels like failure, you know, we'll be doing this tapping process when I'll help you really release those feelings. Because all of this is talk. And talk is amazing and inspiring. But what we really want to help you do is to feel differently. Because it's the feeling that drives the force, right? It's the emotion. So we'll definitely do this. And, you know, if you feel sometimes that, you know, rejections is something that you wanted to address, so it kind of hunts you down, another mantra that I use for rejection is that, you know, what other people say is none of your business, right? What other people say is none of your business. Because it's projection of their personalities, of their experience, of their personal beliefs. It really is not true. So often we, you know, we rely on other people's opinion to decide or to define who we are. I remember, you know, I was reading this book about hypnosis at the time. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I was just like really inspired to talk to my daughter. And I came to her and I go like, Sophie, I want to talk to you about something. She was like, what is that? She was like 4 years old. And Sophie, put your hand on the heart, and what I want you to do is notice what it is. And she's like, there's some movement there, but this is your heart, this is your soul, this is your spirit, this is who you truly are. And who you are, your infinite possibilities, your love on a deep level. And she's looking at me, and, you know, I can see that she kind of doesn't understand, but she kind of does, because she's like really, really curious. And I said, because the truth is, you know, you're going to grow up and go to school, and maybe you'll get bullied, or maybe you'll meet people who are not saying super nice things. And that's totally fine, because it's not about you, it's their opinion. And everybody's entitled to have an opinion. So like really, really early in age, I started hypnotizing her and programming into her how important it is to understand that other people's words are not about you. It's their opinion. And when you learn to see that for what it is, you can actually get feedback. You say, okay, well, there's something for me to learn about you. When you leave the pain and take the lesson, I think that's really is the best way to handle things like that, right? Because you get feedbacks in life. So when you can get the feedback without getting hurt, I think it's one of the core qualities of successful people.
That's cool. And you use tapping specifically for this as well, right? So anything, whatever obstacle or negative feeling you may have, you can use it for anything, right? Yeah, that is super cool. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Did you say, okay, so I know you said a bunch of cool things, and I'm going to recap them a little bit and make sure I get the point right. So you talk about rejections, and you give an inspiration on how we can like get through that fear of rejections, and pretty much you're saying that really embrace that failure is good, and then also that to try that tapping can help us to kind of distance ourselves from other people's opinion, so we can become stronger. So tapping can help us get more in tune with like who we are, and like make us more like listening to our instinct, and like get rid of that fear of what others say and whatever other fears we're having, right? Is that sum it up pretty good?
Yeah, that's what it is. And it's, you know, you can say that there's no fear, just feedback, right? This is the second point, and it comes in a different forms. Failure comes in different forms. There's rejection, there's abandonment, there's people saying no. So all of that is really kind of like parts of the same, sort of roots of the same problem. So if you don't mind, I'll jump to the third point, and then we'll do some tapping. How does it sound? Okay.
Cool.
So the final thing that I wanted to leave you into this, you know, quick mini coaching session is that memories buried alive never die. They just come back in different pairs of shoes, often uglier and stronger. So in my programming and the work that I do with people, I always encourage them to address, you know, those monsters from the past. And then people, they have a bit of a resistance to it. Well, that's already happened. It's in the past. It's not happening. Which is true if you don't have any emotional reaction to this. But if every time you're picking up the phone about to make, you know, a phone call to a prospective client, and you feel like, oh my gosh, they're gonna say no. I said, well, what happened in your past that sort of, you know, resembles this experience? When did you feel this way? When was the time when you feel rejected? Because our subconscious mind doesn't see the difference between business and personal. It just connects the dots like an eager, you know, kindergartner. You know, it just like connects the dots in their own way. So if you had an experience in maybe school when you were in front of the class speaking, and you know, maybe students were like making faces, or a teacher made a comment that your performance wasn't perfect, you might have formed an opinion about you as a public speaker. And every time you have an opportunity to present, either in a group of people, you know, on a subject that you're passionate about, or maybe if you are still in a business or corporate world, if you need to do presentations, it starts sweating and you have this, you know, heart beating. So if all of this is happening, I encourage you to start looking back at those memories. And, you know, this is where tapping comes so strong, because when you tap, you essentially change the way you feel. Your mind and your body is the same thing. It's just one system. There's no mind and body connection. It's just one thing. So when you use this tapping method, you change your reaction to certain events, and you change your perception. You know, so if there would be one way that I would, you know, describe as what is it that I do, is I help people change perceptions. I help people change perspective, so they can see things differently, whether it's perceived failure, they see it as opportunity, or whether it's relationship trouble, they see it as something that they're growing through, or whatever the thing is. So start thinking about, you know, what kind of experience you had in the past that you haven't quite healed, right? And, you know, go there. And, you know, you're not going there like, just imagine you don't go to the cemetery to build a real estate, right? You go to the cemetery to make peace with the past. So that's what the process is about. It's about going back to some unaddressed emotions that never been expressed, addressed, released, and just, you know, giving them voice and letting them out. Does that make sense a little bit?
Yes, it makes total sense. And I love that you, okay, so you invite us to really like kind of become aware. Do we have any negative emotions that could be tied to a past experience, and just kind of like notice it first, right? And then to take a moment and like listen to ourselves, what that may have come from, like where in our past, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like I'm just kind of trying to recap it. To just kind of listen to ourselves, where in our past that may have come from, like may it have been like a childhood experience, or anything from a more recent experience. And I actually have an example right now that just came to my mind as you were talking, which is so crazy. It's business related example. So I have my I have my jewelry line, Possibility, right, which I'm not doing anything with right now. But I was at Phoenix Fashion Week as an emerging designer, and it started really well and it's cool. But I was at a point where I would have had to invest more money and time to have a team to build it and to find like a different sales strategy. So what I was doing is I was trying to make sales, and I got a lot of boutiques. I got like about 8 or 9 boutiques interested, but then I hit this, it was cool. And I sold some stuff, but I hit this roadblock where I found a really hard time connecting with those boutique owners. I had to like chase them with telephone tag, you know, and like, and suddenly they were on vacation or whatever. It was just like such a time intensive thing that it became really frustrating for me. And then also some of them just would never get back to me. So I spent a lot of travel time, travel money, and time just trying to make sales, and like the revenue per jewelry piece was just like very low anyway. So the whole experience was kind of like at the stopping point where I was like, oh, I would have to like catapult it forward, find different ways, whatever. So but I stopped right there, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something else right now. I found my online entrepreneurship thing, which was great. But still, like, I had this negative experience, right? Like having jewelry, I still have some stock that I haven't dealt with. It's just sitting there. I'd love to sell it, but I'm like, I have this negative emotion attached to that experience, right? And I actually have an instance right now where a few days ago, I had a boutique owner from Arizona contact me on Instagram, and she's like, "Oh, do you still have jewelry? I'd love to buy some." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, of course." But you know what? The crazy thing is, I realized that this whole thing about selling jewelry is like such a negative emotion for me still. Because of that experience, that I don't even really feel like I felt like I was holding myself back from calling her. You know, it took me like several days, and I still haven't like fully connected with her. And then I was like, oh yeah, see, like she didn't get back to me, and just kind of this like stupid mental loop. It's like all based on that fear or negative experience in the past. And I'm sure this is a prime example of how tapping can get you out of your own way.
Yeah, yeah, true. Because essentially, you know, the logic part of you understand that, you know, that experience is something that helped you to get where you are right now. You learned something from it, very, very valuable. And, you know, I like to say that experience always outperform opinion, right? So you cannot get any other way rather than experiencing something. So you've got something absolutely amazing out of that. But emotionally or physically, you feel this like, oh my gosh, I don't want to feel this pain again.
Yes.
So what we do is we would go back there and we'll tap into this to where you can actually feel it or experience it and relieve it. So every time you, you know, get a call from somebody who's interested in your work, or you maybe consider, you know, even going in this direction, or maybe not, it doesn't really matter. Just we want to really clear out this space, so if it shows up in any kind of shoes in your life, you don't get any negative feelings.
Yeah,
it's kind of like similar to like in relationships, same idea. So if you have relationships that, you know, because any kind of relationship, you'll have something good and bad in it, right?
Yeah.
So you want to go back and you want to clear out all the bad and keep the good. It's like, and I see an easy example of that. I remember there was this song that me and my ex-boyfriend were listening to. And, you know, when I didn't know the topic, every time the song would play, I would just like sink into this sad feeling. It's like, oh, but we were apart, you know? So what I did is I went and I tapped on the songs. Every time I hear the song, it's like, oh my gosh, I had this amazing relationship. He was my first real boyfriend. Had so much fun traveling. It's just like totally different thing, right? So same event, different thing. So it gives you a lot of power. So you don't feel like, you know, people around you walking around and pushing the buttons on the remote control, right? Or events pushing the buttons on the remote control, controlling your feelings, right? So it brings the power back. So would you like to do a bit of a tapping around this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you would like to do that, it'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So think about this, guys. So think if you have an experience in your past that you'd like to clear. Maybe you didn't have very high month in your business. Maybe somebody approached you, said that they're interested in your work, but then they like disappear. Or maybe they even had like a session with you, like a discovery session, and then they didn't call you back. So either way that you can do this in your mind, or maybe you spend a lot of time doing something like Astrid, a lot of energy, and you just put a lot of momentum, hoping it will grow, and it just never did. So step into this experience, see what is coming up for you. And basically we'll use Astrid as a guinea pig.
Okay.
And all what you need to know is how does it make you feel, right? So when you go there, notice your feelings. And if you can describe them, just, you know, just say what are the free top feelings coming up. So Astrid, what is it for you when you think about the jewelry business?
So I feel it on my chest. I'm kind of like, just like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't, it's kind of hard to say like how it makes me feel. it's like, it's kind of a negative sort of, I guess that's the first realization. It's not really the fear, right? Maybe the fear of rejection. Yeah, I think that's what it is, because I'm like, you know, kind of, because it happened a bunch of times, I'm like, yeah, they're probably not going to call back anyway, that kind of thing, you know. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So just like what Astrid did, do this for yourself, guys. So step into this experience. So, and maybe there's something coming up for you. Do you have something in mind that you'd like to clear up? Any thoughts, any experience that you know that you want to make peace with? And you don't have to share, just in the privacy of your own mind. So go ahead and do it with that if you don't mind. And if you have any questions, just ask, but you can do it just like kind of by yourself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was talking to Anne. I don't know if she realized it.
Yes.
Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the tapping. And just quickly, those of you who are new to EFT. So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And it's kind of the easy way to describe it. It's sort of like an emotional version of acupressure. So no needles needed. It's a very simple acupressure technique. Now, what it does is essentially help you change the way you feel. And the reason why it happens is we are stimulating points that are endpoints of meridians, and they are connected to certain organs in our body. So this point up here is your, see, this is bladder, gallbladder, this is stomach, kidney, and then when you grab this, you know, wrist up here, you have all these meridians running like heart, small intestines, large intestines. So all of these organs essentially create stress. Just think about it. Somebody tell you that, you know, you're fired, your heart starts pumping, right? It's not just in your head. You start sweating, your breathing pattern change. So your whole body, and then, you know, your kidneys start pumping adrenaline into your arms and legs. So the body goes away, the blood goes away from the stomach to the arms. About 400 changes happening in your body when you know, hit by stress. So stimulating this point send electromagnetic signals to the body organs that create the stress and create this response. And it actually counterproductive. It changes the response. Now, nobody really knows why, but like Chinese use it for like 5,000 of years, and they know it works. It's just now coming into you know, to the United States and to the rest of the world. And the truth is, you know, so it started about in 1990s by Gary Gregg, who's a founder of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and his email list grew from like 0 to 1 million subscribers in 1 year because it spread out like a wildfire. You know, when people start sharing and getting results with this, I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff works. And if you think it's weird, it's totally fine. The first time I did it, it was just like so weird. I was like, what, tapping on my face? I don't want to do it. And then somebody who we're talking about is like, just try it. Don't think if you're doing it right or wrong. There's no way of doing it wrong. Just follow me. Do what I do and say what I say. So what I did, I went and I closed the door, and I was sitting there doing this thing and repeating the words. And I was like, man, I feel relaxed. Actually, it's not working. It was just so amazing. Also think about it as an emotional version of cleansing, right? So we brush our teeth and we wash our bodies, but we even take care about our emotions. So they, you know, pile up. So it's kind of like emotional flossing, right? And you wouldn't, if you wouldn't brush your teeth for a while, people would look at you funny, right? But we don't really take care of our emotional state, which is just as important, if not important, than our physical. So this is what it is for, and we're going to go ahead and start tapping right now. So all what you need to do is do what we do, say what we say, just follow along. If you have a little bit different feelings, then use this. But honestly, there's no wrong way of doing it. So here's the thing. So go ahead and do this, Astrid. So close your eyes, start thinking about your jewelry business, and whatever you guys are thinking of, just step into the space. And just notice the resistance, you know, to making the phone call or any negativity around this. So on a scale from 0 to 10, where are you? Like 0, not at all. I can go ahead and pick up that call, and I know that they will be so excited to buy it from me. It's going to be really awesome. And 10 is like, oh, shoot, I'm not going to do this. It's just going to be so much work, and it's just not going to work, period. So let's go from 0 to 10. Where are you?
So right now, I'm like at about an 8. Like I don't want to really call.
By the way, the higher you can make it, the faster it's going to go, because we're going to address more roots, right? We're going to go into this. So feel whatever's coming up and notice how you know. We're just going to start tapping, guys. So just take 2 fingers. The ones that we're going to use is one between your eyes right here, side of the eye, under the eye, and there's one on the collarbone, which is about 2 inches down and to the right or left. Now they run on both sides of the body. And the last one is, this the wrist up here, so we can just kind of grab your wrist close around. By the way, this particular version is actually called Fastra EFT. It's one of the ways to tap, and this one is created by Robert Smith. Now, the reason why I'm using this one, it has a little bit less points. It has a bit more clear formulas or protocols for change. So just so you know, this type of tapping or EFT called Fastra EFT, and it's created by. So let's do this. So close your eyes, go ahead and step into this place. So in case of Astrid, it's the jewelry business and whatever's coming up for you guys, just notice that. Notice the feelings in the body, whatever's coming up. And as you feel them, just tap between your eyes and repeat after me. And just say, this feeling, this tightness in my chest. And Astrid, you can repeat after me if you don't mind.
Okay. I was wondering if I should do that aloud because that way we have
the echo. So you'll be my echo. So you just say, this feeling.
This feeling.
This tightness in my chest.
This tightness in my chest.
All the negative emotions.
All the negative emotions.
Around that event.
Around that event.
Releasing the rejections.
Releasing, interject, what?
The rejections.
The rejections.
The fear of failure.
The fear of failure.
All the negativity around it.
All the negativity around it.
All the way my mind perceives it as failure.
All the way my mind perceives it as failure.
All the way it was difficult.
All the way it looks difficult.
It's safe to let it go.
It's safe to let it go.
All in the past.
All in the past.
No longer real.
It's no longer real.
The good thing about the past.
The good thing about the past.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
It's over.
It's over.
The only thing that's real.
The only thing that's real.
Is now.
Is now.
I'm tapping with 3 ladies.
I'm tapping this to release.
With these 3 ladies.
Oh, this 3 ladies, sorry.
And then Olga, who has a weird Russian accent.
Olga has a great Russian accent.
And Astrid, who has a great laugh.
Astrid has a great laugh. I'm repeating this.
And Anne, who is look very peaceful.
Rose looks peaceful.
So that's the only thing that's real.
That is the only thing that's real. I like that.
The rest is not.
The rest is not.
So it's safe to let it go.
It's safe to let it go.
It's safe for me to change the perspective around it.
It's safe to make a change of perspective around it.
I choose to see it differently.
I choose to see it differently.
Just let it go.
Just let it go.
And grab your wrist, push around, breathe in. And breathe out. And say word peace.
Peace.
Positive, peaceful feeling. So that was a simple round of tapping, guys. So notice it was very, very simple. So what I did is I just said what Astrid told me. Then I was just saying some positive affirmations, right? That it's safe to let it go. It's okay to let it go. Just let it go. And then I was trying things like, things that you want for yourself, or, in this case, for Astrid, like, what do you want to change your perspective around it, right? You want to see it differently. So, and then what you do next is just kind of go back and check. So do this for me, Astrid. So step into this experience and thinking about your jewelry business, just kind of see what's coming up. Can you feel the rejection? Can you feel this feeling in your chest, the tightness? It's still there.
Well, I feel more warm in my chest now. It's funny. It's like this small thing, like when I'm breathing out, and it's like, it just gave me like a feeling of warmth and kind of happy. It's kind of silly, but like, yeah, for me, it really works. Yeah. So I feel,
what you want to do is you kind of want to notice if there's anything left. And then it's usually kind of a little bit down. What you want to do is you want to notice if there's still any remaining feelings. Mm-hmm. If they are, you just repeat the rounds. And you just repeat it 2 or 3 times, usually to the point where they're completely gone, or they're just not important. They're just like, okay, well, it's boring. It's all in the past. So it's every day is a new day, and it's safe for me to move forward. So what I want you to do, Astrid, is actually think about making that phone call or contacting that person on Instagram, and just do it in your mind. How does it feel?
Well, it's still a little like something I don't want to do, but but it feels a little less intimidating or less negative.
Yeah, and I just notice what emotions are there. So on a scale from 0 to 10, where are you?
7 or 6-ish or something. I would probably do another tapping session and just like breathe and to make it lower.
Let's take a couple of minutes to do a little bit more if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, sure.
How do you know it's a 7 or 6? Do you have a feeling in your body? Do you have a picture with that? Do you have a voice? Do you have
it's still kind of a little bit on my chest.
And what feeling is it? Is it a tightness, or what kind of feeling is it in the chest?
Yeah, a little bit like, tightness, I guess is a good word.
And then what else? How else do you know it's a 6? So you are contacting her, what feeling's coming up? So put yourself in that position. It's the best way to go about it. If you would think about doing it or doing it in the moment, what does it feel like?
Yeah. So it's just kind of feeling of like a little annoying because it feels like it, assuming it will be a waste of time, like a little bit a chore.
Very good. You guys got it? Just tap between your eyes and say, this annoying feeling.
This annoying feeling.
It's gonna be a waste of time.
Sorry?
It's gonna be a waste of time.
That'd be a waste of time.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
This tightness in my chest.
This tightness in my chest.
I release and let it go.
I release and let it go.
Things are different now.
Things are different now.
She actually contacted me.
Yeah, she actually contacted me. Hello.
She wants to work with me.
She wants to work with me.
So I basically already have a customer.
So basically, sorry, I didn't hear that.
I already have a customer.
I already have a customer.
That's different.
So that is different.
So I release all the past feelings.
So I release all the past.
And limitations.
And my limitations.
Things are different this time.
Things are different this time.
Everything is shifting for me.
Everything is shifting for me.
It's gonna be easy now.
It's gonna be easy now. Woo!
We gotta agree on a price.
We just have to agree on a price.
And make a sale.
And make a sale. Yes.
And I'm an excellent receiver.
And I'm an excellent receiver.
So this money.
So this money.
That come in my way.
It's coming my way.
I'll take them.
I'll take it.
I'll take it from all different ways.
I take it from all different ways.
Because I'm an amazing manifester.
Because I'm an amazing manifester.
And it's easy for me.
And what?
And it's easy for me.
And it's easy for me.
I can make the phone call.
I can make the phone call.
Contact that person.
Contact the right person.
I can see it now.
I can see it now.
With ease and grace.
With ease and grace.
Let's just finish tapping. Grab your wrist. And breathe in. And breathe out.
Cool.
So before I check in with you guys, I wanted just to kind of share with you what I did. So basically, when you tap in on yourself, just notice what's still there, right? It's really no brainer. My 4-year-old does that. And all what you do is you notice the feelings and you say them out loud. And people say, well, do we really have to say negative out loud? I go like, well, yes, go ahead and say it, because sometimes, it's like bringing it out on the open. Sometimes when you bring negativity on the open, very open, it's just like disappear by itself, because the darkness cannot stand the light. And other, good reasons to say it is because sometimes people will start telling me what's in their mind, and I'm like, I was thinking that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's good to say it out loud, because then you bring it out in the open and you can let it go, right? And I will say out then in, right? So let it go. So Astrid, how are you feeling? Can you see yourself contacting?
Right. I feel a lot better, and I like that you stacked it in a sequence to show that if there's still something there, that we can actually just take it further and just like notice what's happening and what thoughts are coming up, just becoming more and more aware of our thoughts, and then take those and do that. And it's really relaxing. So I really encourage everybody to play with that and to at least try it out, even though it looks like unusual. It's like a really great tool.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Olga. This is really great.
Yay, my pleasure.
Yes, thank you.
So that was the 3 tips. I hope you guys can benefit from it.
Yes.
And use it in
yes,
your compliments.
Super awesome. I'm going to put them in the notes afterward on my blog. I'm going to share them with everybody. So I'm going to wrap up this section, Olga. And do you want to mention your website real quick so that people can look you up too?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now it's just www.olgabochareva.com. And you can come check out. There's a few cool things going on. We have a free challenge coming up, a 14-day tapping challenge, Fearless Entrepreneur Challenge, which is just learning how to use tapping in different areas of your life. So you get this in your inbox, and you just tap and release and make huge progress. Great winner.
I like it. Thank you so much. And I put your link in my blog as well. So I'm going to go to the last section, and we only have a few minutes because I don't want to go over an hour with the call. But the section to celebrate, which I'm so passionate about. Like, everybody who watches this, like, I want you to take a moment and like really think of something that went cool for you this month. And even if you can't think of anything really quickly, it can be something small. I know you did something great or something cool happened for you in your business this month. And I want you to take a moment to be proud of yourself and celebrate. So do something like either get a drink or whatever you want to do to celebrate. And we're going to start it in this call. I'm just going to share a super quick story of myself. It's something that I'm happy, grateful, and excited about is, which for me is, just at the beginning of the month, I decided suddenly that I want to start coaching officially. Like, I haven't done that before, even though I kind of always help my branding clients with during design projects, and I'm really passionate about helping women business owners succeed, and I have my online program, but I've never officially done coaching. And I decided at the beginning of this month that is actually a cool thing that I love to do, coaching and masterminding. And so I decided that, and I actually already got 2 clients this month, which I was like so quick and awesome. So I'm super excited about that. Yay! So that's really cool. And then I wanted to mention just, well, I mentioned that later. I'll let you guys go first. So that's my celebration point. Like, Olga, what is something that you have to share that went well for you?
Fantastic. Well, I'd love to celebrate the webinar that we had yesterday. So I do a masterclass every month, and those are free masterclasses. And I felt like this was one of the best ones that I've done. I've done it for a year, like every single month I would do a masterclass. And this one went is just so smooth in terms of how I felt, in terms of how participants had. We had over 100 people registered. We had about 20
my gosh, that's awesome. That's huge. Congratulations.
We had about 20 people in attendance, and almost the whole group stayed all the way in. Everybody tapped with me. Everybody got changes. Everybody was just
nice.
It had something specific that I want to accomplish. They were able to accomplish it by the end of the call. And the interesting thing about it is, guys, it's actually, it didn't start like perfect. As a matter of fact, we were doing reminders in MailChimp, and MailChimp messed up the whole reminders. They were sending it at random times. People were getting like, we're starting now, and it doesn't start in 5 hours before that.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh my gosh, nobody's going to show up, They get weird. So, and despite all that, and then when we started the call, because we did it in Zoom, right? So like 20 people, and then somebody got on call before me, and the system, for some reason, recognized her as a host. So I was able to record it. So she had to record it for me. Thank
gosh.
We had a lot of those different things. And the funny thing, and I think this is what I'm really celebrating, honestly, guys, is that none of those things got to me. Because, I learned to look at this thing. It's just like, it's not a big deal. It's just, things going to work out. And it's just exactly what happened. People came, they tapped, they learned a lot of cool stuff on how to deal with procrastinations with tapping. And it just really worked out. So I thought it was a great thing to celebrate on a couple of levels. The practical, meaning that, we had an amazing seminar with a great number in attendance. And on the emotional, that, this little thing that could totally derail somebody.
Yes.
It happened. They just didn't get to me at all. So I sent an email saying, hey guys, I apologize. We have technical difficulties. Ignore the emails. We are meeting at 5 o'clock Central Standard on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So that's it. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you to hear that. And what an amazing story to also explain like why tapping and being strong mentally can be so powerful. Breathe through challenges and be strong. That's awesome. Congratulations and yay. And Franz, do you want to share something too? Because I know you are conquering the world with preparing for your solopreneur venture. What happened on your end?
Yeah, for me, what I'd like to celebrate is, okay, I'm just about to start my business. It's only for a few months now. And I joined the brand academy from Astrid.
Yay.
And I've just completed the brand blueprint, and I would like to celebrate this.
Yay!
Because it helped me to know better the direction I want to further explore, and especially the target customer that I would like to address my business to. So yeah, I'd like to celebrate it.
I'm so happy to hear that, and thank you so much for giving a shout out. That's really sweet of you. How cool that you got a step forward and more clarity. Yay!
Yeah, I'm very happy with this. I feel now comfortable with the direction, and this is what counts.
Oh, that's huge. That makes me super happy. Super. Awesome. So I actually on France, we have a brand academy call like in 1 minute, so I have to wrap up this call. Thank you so much, Olga, for being a super awesome guest expert. I loved your session. Super great conversation. Really great tips. I will share your links, and I will share the blog post. And I wish everybody who's watching this later a really successful next month. Come join me on Celebrate Possibility and read my blog post, because I have really cool opportunity coming up about a free mastermind session that I will share there. If you want any help in your business to get empowered and are considering a mastermind, you should consider that option, because it will be a free test mastermind session, and then you could keep masterminding with me. So anyway, more on my blog. Stay tuned. Have a great successful month, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot, Edgar. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.